Hi, and welcome to the next episode of the Naria Lemaire Show, and I'm your host, Naria. For those of you who are new, welcome. I'm so excited to have you. I am a registered dietitian who specializes in gut health and longevity. Now, today we're going to go over some case studies. I did receive a lot of comments about the recent case studies I did, and it seems you guys really enjoyed those, so I'll definitely start to bring those more frequently. And these are case studies, of course, with my clients. Most of them like I said, we start everyone on the gene test, and we also do different types of testing, like the one we're going to review today, which is the GI map. I am moving from the GI map to a different type of test. So let's get into it. We're going to start with a little bit of a story. Now, with this individual, with this client, she came to me mainly because she just wanted to work on some of the macros. And she was in her mid-30s, so we were about similar age, and nothing crazy. She just came with me for that, nothing out of this world. I told her, hey, I do these other functional nutrition tests. If you're interested, definitely let me know. We can order them and review them together. We did start her on the gene test, which revealed a lot more than what she originally thought. And we did create that blueprint for her, so that way, even though some of those things weren't a problem, she could just consider them, so that way when she was in her late 30s, 40s, 50s, and so forth, she knew that, hey, even though it's not happening now, we want to really prevent it from happening when we get older, because again, we want to make sure that we're aging healthy. There's no point in doing it now. I'm not going to say there's no point, that's so dramatic, but my point is the long-term game is to focus on healthy aging. So anyhow, we're working together, and she decided to do the GI map. I was doing the GI map at that time, and we run the GI map just really for funsies, and we get them back, and it revealed a lot more than she had originally ever thought, and honestly, even myself, based on what she told me. So today we're going to review some of those results together, and I'm going to share some of those screenshots over here on my side. So again, if you're listening to this in your car, just pop on here later, maybe on the YouTube, to just look at them, because this is really interesting stuff. This is really something that got a lot of my attention. I remember years and years ago, I heard a dietitian talk about the GI map and checking what's inside the stool and really tailoring these nutrition plans. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I would love to do that. I can't wait. So now that I have it in my practice, I can tell you I absolutely love it. I love doing the stool test, guys, because it reveals what's happening. Remember, everything starts in the gut. So anything that will happen will originate there. So if we can see what's happening in there and kind of nip it in the bud, let's do it. So anyhow, I have those the information on my computer, so I'm just going to peek down here and there. So the first shot here that I want to show you guys is the H. pylori. So I showed her this, and she saw the 4.33, and she's like, huh. She's like, it's high. She was like, I have H. pylori. So we talk over this, and guys, when I go over this, it's not just what the test says. It's I have to see the whole clinical picture. How is the patient feeling? Is she exhibiting these symptoms? Is she not? Like, what's happening here? It's not just like focus on one thing. It's back away, relax. What's the whole picture saying? So with this, I asked her, like, hey, tell me a little bit more than you already have about your day-to-day. I asked her some questions, usually some things that come with H. pylori, which of course we all know, like the heartburn type of symptoms, some of the gas, bloating, all that stuff. And I asked her, like, hey, do you have any of these? Does this happen to you? And she stays quiet, and she says, you know what? For the last 2-3 months, I have noticed here and there after breakfast sometimes I have some burning in the chest, maybe an hour after breakfast, and then it stops at lunchtime. I'm like, okay. These are important things, guys. So if you ever sign on with me, make sure you're telling me all this from day one. Remember, the sooner I know, the sooner I can implement these things. So I'm okay. So we have possibly that H. pylori. So let's see what else we have. Now, just to give you a little bit more history on this person, she didn't want to take antibiotics. So even if she did, I told her, you can always go to the GI doctor to confirm you have your insurance. Like that's up to you to do it. So there's the antibiotic route. And then there's, of course, like the whole more natural functional route that you can take it's your life. You decide what you're going to do. You just tell me what course, and even if you want to do a little bit of both, you just tell me and we'll go on from there. So anyhow, what happens though when someone has H. pylori? Is it just oh, my chest hurts? What happens there? And this is, I think, something that a lot of people don't consider, like the domino effect of H. pylori. Because what H. pylori will do, it'll reduce the acidity in the stomach, right? So if there's less acidity, what can happen, guys? If you're watching this on YouTube, pause and please comment below. So what can happen is the good and the bad can overgrow. Yeah, you heard it right. The good too. So what can happen is, again, they can overgrow, and that's when you can start to see some inflammation. You can start to see a lot more happen in that. I know previously we talked a little bit about the leaky gut. So you see how these things can kind of start to domino effect, especially for someone who really feels like, hey, I have a healthy diet, because again, her diet was pretty freaking good. She worked out maybe 5 to 6 days a week. She was pretty active, very, very good on her fiber intake. I mean, everything was really good. We saw this and it's like, we're putting more into what we already know. So it's not just let's do this, but maybe there was an underlying problem that hasn't been addressed. Now it needs to be addressed. Otherwise, it's not going to be funner later, right? So anyhow, we see this. Now we're going to scroll down a little bit, and you see this next picture here? Dysbiotic and overgrowth bacteria. Look at all that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hi. And again, this is someone who really was good with her diet. A lot of fruits and veggies, all that good stuff, like literally ideal client. And we're seeing this. And I'm like, dude, she's like, how is this happening? It doesn't make sense, because I'm always focusing on my diet. I'm very active, drinking my water. I'm taking these probiotics. She was taking some old ones. I definitely switched her. But again, we're going to go back to see the whole clinical picture, right? Because the H. pylori, we're seeing that it seems like you have it. So if you do have it, it's going to reduce the acidity in the stomach, and that's going to allow these guys to be like, hey, no one's like going to kick me out of here. So I'm just going to hang out, and I'm going to overgrow, and I'm going to start to just munch on this undigested food here. This is it. This is living life. So when that happens, you see all those go high. So with that, you really want to be mindful of, wow, okay, not only are we seeing that H. pylori is a little bit high, we're seeing that these guys are kind of taking advantage of that situation. So we want to nip it in the bud as soon as possible. Now, one of the other labs here or tests here, results, was candida. I don't have it up here, but basically her candida was high too. So we have H. pylori, we have candida. Yeesh. Now let's see what else we have. On the next one, digestion. You see this here? So just take a note of that. I'll leave it there for a second. But we can see that her elastase was pretty low, like really low, and her secretory IgA. Now, here, the digestion. So what does this let us know? Again, it's going back to that clinical picture. It's all connecting here. Now, with this, she needed some digestive support just because that elastase was low. So we start to set up a protocol to help her with that digestive support. Now, remember, when I give these protocols, I know sometimes it's scary. A lot of clients are like, Nari, why am I like 1,000 things? It's not long term. With these things, usually it's going to be about 2 months to 3 months. 2 months usually is like go hardcore. 3rd month maybe, depending on the situation. And then after that, it should be more type of maintenance. Just kind of ease back to what you're going to be on your maintenance time. But you should not be on all these supplements for the rest of your life. Like, that's crazy to be on all these supplements. We need to fix the root problem. Again, guys, when you sign up to the program, it's not just let's put band-aids over band-aids over band-aids. It's getting to the root problem. If you were just to do band-aid solutions, you could just use your insurance. There would be no point in signing up here. So with this, we needed, hey, the body's saying I need help. So because the body's saying I need help, we are going to give you some of that digestive support now until we kind of fix the main problem. Right? So also the immune response, look at that. The IgA was low. So again, the body's saying, hey, I need some help. Let's get some things going. So with this situation, we have the main problems here is going to be, of course, the H. pylori and the candida. And it was interesting because after we started on this protocol, I believe it was about a month, month and a half-ish, she shows up to one of the sessions, and as usual, I'm like, hey, how are you feeling? How's everything going? And she says, it's interesting because after breakfast, she would have like this mild type of headache, not a migraine, just like a very mild headache. And she thought it was related to her hydration and also her screen time. So what she would normally do was to hydrate more. So she was a great water drinker, by the way. Her logging, when I would see her water, which is like always high, I'm like, oh, okay, I don't have to remind you. And she would also start to take some electrolytes. So she did have some electrolytes, and she would take those screen breaks. And she said, I thought it was because of the screen that I would, just be using a lot of screen at work during the daytime, or I just wasn't hydrating. So, obviously you would see a lot of water or hydration throughout the day. But now that I started this protocol, it's been about a month or a month and a half, that random headache just happened to go away. Just like one day I woke up and I realized I didn't think, she's like, I didn't increase my water. I didn't do anything. I've been forgetting to take my electrolytes, actually. And same job. Like, nothing's changed except this protocol. She's like, even with that, after breakfast, I haven't had that burning anymore. I believe when she said that, it was at almost month 2, I believe. Almost month 2. And she says, wow. She's like, I just woke up and I started to feel all these things. Guys, and again, if someone has similar, it's like you can always go to your doctor, insurance, do whatever. But I have a lot of clients that really like to go more the holistic way. So then we do these protocols. And with her, when she saw the power of the protocol, she went from, I don't want to take these, which, dude, even like with me, if I've ever had to, or if I ever have to in the future, these protocols sometimes are fun. It's not like, oh, just 1 pill, 2 pill, 5. Sometimes it's a good amount, and it could be very irritating because then it's like 15 minutes before you're eating, and then when you're eating, oh yeah, and then during lunch, and then during dinner, and then 15 minutes before sleep. So it's just very tedious, very annoying. But when you do it as directed, it can make a massive difference. So moving forward to now, she's, of course, off of that protocol. We have her on her maintenance, and I'm very specific with maintenance. This is so important. Again, we're not doing Band-Aids, so at this point, her body should be able to digest these foods better. Everyone's different. I have clients all the way from everything's gone, everything, it was just like it never happened, to they're much more controlled, and I feel like myself again. They're still here and there, as controlled as possible. And even after they graduate the program, their progress continues. Naria, it's been 6 months since I graduated. From that point to now, A, B, and C has happened. Check out the reviews on my website, guys. These are real people who are experiencing real results. So with her, that's one of the case studies I want to share. She had that candida, she had the H. pylori. She went from really feeling healthy, really practicing a good lifestyle, to not looking a certain way, not only to herself but to others, but from her inside, being healed from the inside out. So now everything that she's doing to maintain is really going to help with that barrier function that we talked about maybe an episode or 2 about. We really want to support that gut, because again, everything starts in the gut. Now, friends, sometimes it's in the little things. I know sometimes we feel like, hey, I'm pretty good, I'm pretty active, I'm drinking my water, I'm doing this. But these functional tests reveal things that sometimes what we thought was normal, or what we felt was something that was supposed to happen at a certain age, we find out that it's not. That's one of the biggest things I hear. Naria, I thought it was because my age. Naria, everyone told me it was because I was getting older. It's like, in a society that we live in the United States, we live with Band-Aids all the time. For most people, that's gonna be the answer. Just part of age, and then just keep it going. But when you think of, hey, if you start to feel this way in your 30s or 40s and you die when you're 90, like, how many years are you going to just accept that when there's possibly a different way? If there's even a slight possibility, wouldn't you want to try? Have you ever considered functional nutrition testing? I can tell you it could be a massive game changer. Now, friends, any questions you may have, please comment below. I hope this was helpful to you. I hope seeing it through, kind of walking through my thought process, walking through some of these screenshots. The test is longer. I just kind of picked the sections that I wanted to focus on here today. If you happen to do the stool test with me, you'll see that you'll get your own, and it's going to be a little bit longer than this. And again, I'm switching to a different company. I love these tests. Any questions, comment below, or send me an email at narialamaire@gmail.com. Till next time, bye.